Welcome to the Cognition Courier, Ascensioners. Last week was my birthday, so I forgot to record that week, but at least it wasn't a 3 months break like last time. Now, I'm planning to make a reaction video for the sets that I don't know already, that are those about Dreamscape, but I don't have a webcam, so I need to test my phone's camera first. Just wait a little more for that. This time the video will be shorter because Rise of the Fallen is a mini expansion, not a main set, so this expansion isn't available for 3 or 4 players unless you add it to another set. Then, instead of having 9 or 10 cards per faction, there are only 6. So let's start with Enlightened this time. I hope here isn't any Dart Lover, because the worst card of the entire game is Darta's Retreat. 4 cost, 3 honor construct, and the effect is the following. If you don't acquire nor defeat a card during your turn, draw 2 more cards at the end of the turn. So you need to lose an entire turn just to draw 2 extra cards on the next one. The best scenario for this card's effect isn't even good, that is having 3 or more cards discarded on just one turn. So you skip that one, then have a strong turn later. In order for that, you need to have at least 2 other constructs and have your opponent punish you with Basu, but truly it's unrealistic. Have the number of constructs and that 2 cards that are both one-offs, all that just to use this effect one time? That is the best scenario. Normally, this card sits on your construct zone forever doing nothing. Forever. The only thing that is good in this card are its 3 stars. Well, I don't know what problem have developers with Enlightened on this set, but this card is awful as well. Eternal Ascara is the number 5 on this ranking. This hero costs 5 and is valued as 3 honor. Her effect is banish a card from the center, and if that was a monster, you gain 3 stars. Honestly, I think they forgot to put draw a card at the start of her text. I believe they thought this will be like a Templar, but with a fixed honor reward. The problem is that here is missing the monster effect, and without that, this card becomes worse than a Templar, the Seer, etc. A big waste of one of the best arts of the game. The 4th place is for Adayu, the Chosen. It's the first 8 cost hero, also the first 6 honor hero, that can acquire or defeat any card by itself. Really nice card, but it's very expensive. I mean, the effect is really good, but 8 runes is very hard to get. I feel that it carries the setup problem, being that card an overvalued 7 runes. This having 2 more targets should be even more expensive. The big difference is that with this you always have 6 options, and it's incredibly rare there isn't at least one worth it. In summary, Adayu is good, the problem is his inaccessibility. The 3rd card of the ranking is Ascar of Fate. With this card I need to introduce a new game term, Fate. Fates are effects that occurs when the card enters to the center route. Normally they affect all the players or the center itself, but the player that acquire or defeat the card doesn't get anything special for them. In this case the effect is, all players draw a card. This effect doesn't benefit so much to the turn's player, but it could help. However, the next player will play their turn taking into account that they have an extra card. Despite that, the card that the player will acquire is a 4 cost 2 honor hero with the following effect. Draw 2 and the other players draw a card. Also, you can banish 1 from the center. So you aren't gaining any real card advantage unless you are playing the last turn of the game. But at least you are the first that gets an extra card, and that's okay. The other good part is that this card helps controlling the center without sacrificing card advantage, unlike Eternal Ascara. Hectic Scribe is the number 2 from the top. 1 rune, 1 star and a simple effect that makes you draw 2, after that discard 2. The idea of this hero is very good. It gives you a good cycle speed, but is a -1 on card advantage. However, being so cheap makes it worth it. I mean, it's common to have a card that doesn't help your strategy of the turn. Other times, this card will hurt you. By cycling 2 cards for 1 cost, seems right. The same argument that Arca Initiate has is applicable here. It is 1 rune that if you have left over, you can spend on this. Finally, the number 1, and for me the most controversial relation, Arha Sensei. 3 cost, 2 honor hero and the following effect. You can banish a card from your hand to add to your hand a new mystic or infantry. Initially, I think this card was amazing. Later, I think this card was trash. Now I think this is a good card, but not a strong one. So first I see this card as a Vanish plus a Mystic, but if you think it better, this card is doing nothing by itself. I mean, you need another card to play this one, so this card is giving you the same value as Void Initiate, 1 room for evolving a card plus a Vanish. And if you do this with 4 purchased cards, this does nothing. Finally, I realized that even if this card is very similar to the Initiate, this needs less setup in order to do what it does. Just compare those cards plus an Apprentice. With Void Initiate you need a card in the discard in order to get 2 runes and the Vanish. But Sensei with the Apprentice don't need more to get 2 runes and the Vanish. Also, you get the Mystic for the next round. But remember that this card may become a blank card on the late game. At least until that moment this will help. And also is versatile on what you need. You know what? After this discussion I think that I like this card a little more now. Okay guys, this was all for this week. Don't forget to click all the buttons below and leave the comment. I swear I don't bite. See you on the next round.